Hey guys, welcome to the another episode of Orthodox Techie. And today we are going to see about what is an API and how to create an API using Visual Studio and backend as database SQL Server. So theoretically, what is an API? API is an application program interface which enables communication or interaction with software components with each other. .NET is a framework that makes it easy to build HTTP services that reaches a broad range of clients, including browsers and mobile devices. And also, Web API can enable communication by different devices from the same database. So, before getting started, let me explain one thing clearly. What people used to create their website when there is no concept of API. So, answer for this is here. So whenever there is a website, they link their website backend directly to their databases, which makes each and every user can able to access the database with their backend. Which means if you have a login database form and there is a sign up button like this, and whenever you submit username and password here, and while clicking on the submit button, they will be directly contacting the database from their website background, which means whoever use your website can able to access your database. So this make hackers to easily hack your website and able to see your data without your permission itself. Um Something like the what people were doing is whenever you click on submit button after entering username and password, they will be writing a SQL query like select star from table name and where username equal to the text in the username and password equal to the text in the password. So whenever we click on submit button, they will be creating this SQL query and they will be sending it to database to execute the query. So whenever a hacker can able to get this, they can easily get into your website and able to hack your website without the user knowledge of the developers. So that's why the REST API concept has been arrived. So by using REST API, the same can be replaced as like this, which means the user needs to access the API and the API will contact your database and retrieve you with the authentication or whatever the data it replies, and the same data will be sent to the website. Like you can't able to really access the database without here. So API will be taking responsibility of full database and it will retrieve you the data. So it's make hackers were not able to access the database, which means the data which is important, you will be sending the data to the API and the API will process all your requests to database and it will just reply with whatever you wanted. So which means there is a set a step which there is no availability in this concept. Hope you got what people did before creating API when there is no concept like API. So without any further delay, let's get started into the creation of local API. So for this I am using Visual Studio Community Version 2019 and SQL Server 2012. You can have a pictorial representation of how both works. I'll show both of them in a single window. So there is a middle interface where you can't able to access your database from the end user. But in this, when there is no concept of API, the user can directly be sending the data to the database, which make hackers to easily access your database without the user knowledge, without the developer's knowledge. Hope you find it, and that's why we used API. First of all, what you need to do is create a new project. Click on create a new project, which is available in here. click on ASP.NET Core Web Application, which is available here or here. Click on it and click next. So give your application a name. I will give a techie demo application. Choose the path you wanted. So I will choose folder and click on create button. In the next step, what you need to do is create an empty and click on create. Visual Studio will take care of creating your project, and it will create a default view for default folders and CS files in your basic application, and all the NuGet packages can be added in the dependencies folder, which means the third-party applications, and this is the launch settings, which is while debugging your application will be hosted in localhost, while in development or any other phases your application you can enter whatever you wanted. For development it will be hosted in this localhost. So all your JSON will be configured here, which means whatever the data you have hard-coded data can be, you can access it here, and you can access it through startup class. So if you have a custom startup class, you can change up here. For now I'm not going to change that startup project, so let's it be startup, and it will be startup.cs. Initially your application will get hidden in this main application, and using this startup it will directly transfer your code to this configure service place. And now you need to download two NuGet packages. For this, right click on dependencies, which is available here. Right click on and click on manage NuGet packages. So click on browse and search for entity framework core.sql server. Click on the first and install the latest stable version. In my case it is 3.1.4. Click on OK. Agree the license. So in a few seconds the same package will be added here. Now we need to add a second tool called entity framework core.tools. Click on the link and install the latest version. Agree the license. And the application has installed our NuGet packages. So these will be used to connect our database using code first approach. And I forgot to say that we are going to create our API using code first approach, which means we are not going to write any single query in SQL Server. Using in a code C# code, we can able to create a SQL database, and we can able to insert the data also. For this, create a new folder and add its name as models. You can change anything you wanted, and right click and create on class. So for example, I am creating an API for employees. So this is not the database name, it's just a table name. Public int employee ID, get or set is important for this, and second column name public string name, get set is important. I think I forgot semicolon. Now public string address of the employee, give it getter and setter. And now finally public string add company name, add getter and setter. So we have created our first table name. So for after this step we need to create a migration which will migrate our employee table to SQL Server table. So for this what you need to do is click on tools, and click on NuGet package manager, click package manager console. On the next step we need to create a context file. For this right click, add class. This will be a context for our database and our application, so which this will hold all the database table columns and rows. So let me give an employee db context.cs and click on enter. So inherit with db context. So if it gives you error, what you need to do is click on that, and for this shortcut is control dot. So you need to use using Microsoft Entity Framework code. Click on this. Let's create the constructor for employee db context. So we gave db context as parameter just because db context needed a base db context needed an db context option, so we created it and we are not going to deal anything inside it. What we need to do is we need to include this employee as a database set, which means we need to specify employee table as db column so that the code will understand without any problem, and give it getter and setter. For now our step 2 is over, and for the next step what we need to do is open a app settings.json which is available in here and link our database here, which means you need to provide your user SQL server's database name or instance name here, so that SQL Visual Studio can easily access, or our application can access SQL Server. So for that we need to create our connection strings. So I will add my connection strings here. Connection strings. Created. So this will be the connection name we are going to use. So this will be server equal to. So we can get the server name from this by click on this connect database engine and copy this. So once again click on this connect database engine and now copy this server name here. So copy the server name here. I just copied it and paste it here. Now add a database name, which means we need to enter our database name, like whatever the name you need for the database, you can enter it here. So in my case I will name it as employee DB, and we need to trust the certificates. Trusted underscore certificates equal to underscore equal to true. Now it's done. For our next step, we need to add services dot add MVC, and now we need to link our database to services, so that initially in the initial process itself our database will get initiated to these services. Services dot add DB context of, we need to specify our DB context name. In our case it is employee DB context. So I will post this code in the description also. Use SQL Server of. In this we need to create our connection strings. We can copy paste it there itself, but it's not a good way of programming, so I added it here, and we are going to get a configuration value from here, from the app settings to starter.cs. Configuration. Seems like we don't have configuration for here, so let me create a constructor for this. Startup constructor will hold the iConfiguration value, sorry. So we need to save this configuration so that we can configure it here. So for that I will create a private variable and add an iConfiguration underscore configuration some name, and I will assign this configuration value to our local variable. So in this stage we can access configuration value and get connection strings. In this parameter we need to add our name we created here or we just gave here. It's done. In the next stage what we need to do is we need to migrate our database using this context to SQL Server. For that we need to add a migration for the DB context. Click on tools, click on NuGet Package Manager. Click on Package Manager console. In this console what we need to do is we need to add a migration. Click on enter. So the migration possibly needed a name, so I am entering initial context. It will just get the SQL Server instance from startup we just entered and it will just create a migration file. You can also see it here. Let me see, it is an auto generated. So in the new folder called migration we have got initial context which contain the table employee which we created, and don't change anything here because it is auto generated, we don't need to touch this. So to get that status in here we need to update the database. Click on this and type update-database. Click on enter. This will create a build for you, and whenever it is succeeded you can see that SQL Server will generate a new database file for you. See, we got employee DB which it named as, we gave here employee DB, the same name as created a database name. Let me check the database employees table name is created. Let me check, it contains all the 4 columns we just had in a getSet property. Yes, employee ID, name, address, company. We got 4 of them. So on the next step what we need to do is, so if suppose you forgot to or you need to add a new table, new column, what you need to do is you just need to enter a new column name here. In our case it's just property, public int age at getAssetAProperty. And due to this change we need to create a new migration change for this age. So open Package Manager console, click on type on add migration. So I'll be adding a migration name, employee age. Click on enter. So migration has been generated for this employee age here. Here we got employee age migration. Let me open it, and we'll be getting up and down two methods. This will add a column whenever when the database is builder is up, and while the data migration is down, this will just drop the table. So on the runtime itself we will be getting the column. So we got a instance here. So what we need to do now is, we won't be getting a table here, sorry, we do a column here, name, address, company, employee. So in this stage what we need to do is we need to update the database. This will just build your application. The build is done. Let us check. Now employee DB, tables, and employee columns. Now we got the age, or we can check it via select star from. I think I'm on master DB. Let me change that to employee DB. Now click on, select this and click F5. So we got all the 5 columns. So if you want a new column or new table, means what you need to do is create a new model file just like this, and create a new DB set of the new model name here, add a getter setter property, and the next step is you need to add migration for that newly created model file, and then update the database. In just a few minutes you will be creating a new column here, and till now we didn't touch any single query like this not considered as a query. I'm just showing it to you. So we have never used to create database like kind of commands here or queries here. So for our 50% of the work is done in this step.